You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Looking forward to today's house calls as always. Hopefully you were able to tune in yesterday where we answered about a half a dozen questions or so from our community. A lot of things on skin, so some skin-based issues we talked about, anxiety, hormones, digestive, you name it. So really, like I said, anything is fair game for us to talk about, including things that we talk about on Mindset and Motivation Mondays. We don't hear a lot about those questions about, how can you get further in life? How can you overcome certain obstacles? I'd love to be able to share just my thoughts with you. That's really what I'm trying to do is I'm giving you one person's opinion who's kind of gone through a lot in their own life and also been able to help many thousands of people. I mean, that's the nice thing is it's not just me. I also have a great, amazing team of health coaches, registered dietitians, personal trainers, fitness professionals. I've hired and trained over 100 different fitness professionals. I've certified over 600. So I've got to see a lot, and just being able to keep myself open to how different people practice has really enabled me to just be able to draw from a lot of different areas of the overall health world and be able to share those experiences with you. That's really my goal, is hopefully all of us, we're just trying to keep an open mind. If we can keep an open mind, I think that's going to lead us to eventually achieving our goals, whatever those might be. Because when we become closed off, we limit the amount of ways that we could get well. Meaning, like, if you only allow yourself to get well or to overcome some obstacle in life, to lose weight, when you become dogmatic about something, it could be you're shelling yourself off from the possibility that one day you get well, you achieve that goal, you find the relationship, you get the career, whatever it might be. And just, again, you have to sometimes go around things instead of just trying to go right through them. So without further ado, let's get into our questions for this house call number 2 of the weekend. And the first question is from Megan. So this will be a long question. And as always, I will happily allow you to read the whole question on your own. Simply go to stephencabral.com/667. That's where I'll be putting all the links today. Anytime, any doubt you might have about what was that he mentioned, what was this, what was that, it'll be linked up always at that show notes page. Today's is stephencabral.com/667. And of course, as always, all previous podcasts are at stephencabral.com/podcast. You can also search the previous podcast there as well. So let's get into Megan's long question today. And I'm just joking, Megan. You can always write as long a question as you would like. I always read it. I just can't read the whole thing over the podcast. So Megan writes in, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to answer my question. I wrote in a few weeks back about my 10-year-old son, about how we healed leaky gut, and then which turned into the eye tics he was having, which alleviated the eye tics he was having. Really happy to help you, Megan, with that, and also the great job you've done on your own. Obviously, this is more you than it is me. So he did a recent Nutreval, and they're back on biociden and some biofilm disruptors. Just saying that, a lot of this obviously makes sense. Did an IgG, came up with high yeast, and let's see what else is going on. Posed all my questions, so sorry that it might be confusing about my son and saccharomyces that he's taking. And the rest of it goes on to say, why is he having so many flares up when he does have yeast? Now I understand. That makes sense. Okay. So it's just phrased a few different ways. I think I'm just a little slow today and catching on, but I see exactly what you're saying. Is it just too much yeast? Maybe the Saccharomyces boulardii isn't working. So yes, just keep in mind that like the things that I recommend, I'll be talking about this in about 2 weeks from now, but 1%, 1 out of 100 people, and of course, everybody always thinks they're the one, but we have to give a different recommendation. So does Saccharomyces boulardii work for even higher than 99%? Yes. But certain people with certain issues within their gut, and they have just too much yeast overgrowth, even though Saccharomyces boulardii is actually a non-pathogenic yeast that actually pushes out pathogenic yeast such as Candida, which is why even in the medical literature, this is kind of the hilarious thing about conventional medicine, is they don't believe in nutritional supplements. They don't believe in any of these things. Even in the medical literature states, when you give someone an antibiotic, you're supposed to give them Saccharomyces boulardii. It's beyond my comprehension why people just, it's not done. And again, they're saying like, oh, well, there's no research behind it. In conventional medicine, the journals are saying, give Saccharomyces boulardii if you give antibiotics. But when have you ever heard a conventional medicine doctor say, you should take Saccharomyces boulardii since you're taking a antibiotic? They never do. Every once in a while, they'll recommend a probiotic, but they don't even know which one to recommend. And again, I'm giving MDs a hard time. I love MDs. I'm not against MDs. I'm against conventional medicine. And I'm not against it from acute-based care because you've heard many, many times where I say, I'm so happy that we have it, that we were able to get people the acute-based care that they need. Having a heart attack, bilateral pneumonia for someone that's like 80 years old and they need to have their lungs drained, like any of these things, they make total sense to me. Staph infection, surgery. Of course, we need all of those things, and I get that. I'm talking about chronic-based care. That's where conventional medicine has let us down, and most MDs are starting to realize that as well, which is why they're going back for continuing education with functional medicine. So even if it's not like going to be the forte of their practice, well, at least they can have a background in it. They can actually see the research. But of course, you're not going to believe in any of this stuff unless you open your eyes to the possibilities. So that's a long rant right there, Megan. I'm going to cut myself off from that to saying what we need to do first is remove more than we add back in. So your son is simply too built up. That's it. So what do? Well, you're doing the biociden. That's great. But also, hopefully, you're using our children's candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol. It's very, very popular. It's working for a reason. We're removing. So let's just not use the Saccharomyces boulardii yet. Let's use the fluorofilm, okay? Let's use the biociden, and let's use maybe a little bit of herbs. Maybe you could use a little bit of oregano oil. Now, that would be fantastic if you could do that. Oregano oil is one of those things that is broad spectrum. We can't use grapefruit seed extract with children too young. I don't know how old your son is, but that's a little too young, in my opinion, to use one of the strongest natural antibiotics. He's 10 years old. Okay, I still want to wait. I want to use straight oregano oil. You can do it in a little bit of food or ideally in a little bit of water. Yes, it's very, very bitter. So maybe we could do it in a little bit of fresh pressed vegetable juice or in a little bit of a smoothie, like maybe like that first sip of a smoothie, 1 or 2 drops of oregano oil. That would be great. Let's do more removal. Let's work his biociden up to 5 drops in the morning, 5 drops before bed, empty stomach ideally. Let's get maybe a little more oregano oil in there. Let's use the fluorofilm to disrupt those biofilms. Let's start using the food list that you got with that protocol as well. And then we'll start repopulating with the clean gut probiotic. And we can just start with a half a capsule rather than a full capsule. Or we can even do a quarter of a capsule. It's okay to start with even less. So use that. And I hope to hear a success story the next time you write in. All right, Eliana is up next. She writes in, or he writes in. Again, I'm not good with names. I'm one of the worst. Elaine is up next saying, I love your podcast. It's so informative. I wanted to ask you about my workout program split. I typically do this kind of 5-day split. Legs, arms, cardio, and abs, back and chest, shoulders, and cardio. Basically, I lift 4 to 5 days a week and get my cardio in either the same day or alternating days. Is this too much lifting? I've been doing it for a while now and I've enjoyed it, but I was listening to your recommendation about 3 days of resistance training per week. Thank you. So, Eliana, I think it's phenomenal that you wrote in. I love answering these types of fitness questions since that was my original background. It was actually technically my original background was in nutrition, and then it became in personal training and strength and conditioning, and then more into naturopathy, functional medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, all the different types of medicine. So, well, here's my deal. I don't know your body type. If you're a mesomorph and you're a female, and again, I apologize. I'm assuming that you are female, that I don't know if this is building too much muscle in your body. If you're great, I'm okay with it. It's just to let you know, a 5-day split, this is an old school bodybuilder's split. And so typically I would not be recommending it. If you're a bodybuilder coming to me, I could recommend a different split, which still might be splitting up some body parts, but usually I wouldn't do all legs in one day. And the reason is this. When you're doing back and chest or shoulders and cardio, you're missing your legs from a metabolic standpoint. When you do cardio, you're on your legs, but it's not metabolic. It is, of course, you could be doing intervals, but it's not for your legs. It's not anaerobic, okay? And again, you can make that argument with intervals, but it's not training your legs how you would with weights. That's the best way to say it. So for me, why did I say 3 days a week? Well, in 3 days a week, you could do 3 full body workouts that will dramatically boost your metabolism. So if you're trying to transform your body, that's what I recommend. I would recommend this is for a period of 4 to 6 weeks, why not do the 3 days a week of resistance training? And on 2 other days, you could do your interval-based training. Then you could actually see how it affects your body. if you've been doing 5 days a week, 4 to 5 days a week like this forever, it's time to switch it up anyways. I mean, I really go back to that previous podcast, do your full body workouts 3 days a week. I think you'll get fantastic results, especially doing like in Monday's workout. It might be like a front squat and let's say like a Romanian deadlift. And on Wednesdays, you're doing a step up and maybe walking lunges for your legs. And then you're adding upper body as well. And then on Friday, you're doing, let's say, a one-leg Romanian deadlift and you're doing a one-legged squat. Well, that'd probably be too much one leg in one day, but you might do a transverse plane lunge, something like that, okay? That, in addition, then your shoulders on your, like one shoulder's on one day with a vertical press, vertical pull. Another day would be your chest press and your row. And then a middle day, you could do whatever you want. You could do cleans if you wanted to. I think you would get phenomenal results from that. A lot of this is a man's guide to muscle and strength. And again, it's not just for men, it's for women too. My publisher is the one who decides that, not me. I don't get to decide those things for writing a book, which is why my next book, it's all about me, which is also why it's taking forever to come out. So there's pros and cons to everything we find in life. So hopefully that gives you your answer. Tyler's up next. Tyler is writing in, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. I know you have a background in bodybuilding and personal training. I'm looking for advice in regards to putting on more muscle. I'm a 25-year-old former college athlete, very lean, looking to put on mass the safest way possible, predominantly vegan, gluten-free with some wild fish and eggs. Work out 3 to 4 days a week and do a combo of lifting, swimming, and hatha yoga. I'm 6'1", 182. I've read on the importance of ingesting protein shakes before and after workouts, as well as BCAAs, pre, during, and post-workout for anabolic muscle growth. Do you have any recommendations? Pre and post-workout, vegan-based diet. I do your daily nutritional support powder in my smoothies in the morning, and BCAAs, or are they even necessary? Appreciate your insights. Thanks, Tyler." Okay, so Tyler, so you wrote in obviously before this question. I answered this question on episode 650. Check that out. It's a full podcast just for you. Literally pre, post workout. Here's what I do recommend. Lifting every other day for you, only the major lifts in the beginning. At 6'1", you could easily put on another 10 pounds of muscle, without a doubt. So the reason is I need you every other day, not every day. Your other day could be hatha yoga. That would be great, or stretching. So, and again, the 5 floor stretches that I talked about 3 days ago, that was episode 664. That would be for you to check out as well after your workouts. Major lifts only. I basically just talked about them on my last question. I get to answer 2 exercise questions. This is amazing. Great. By Eliana. So you'll do the same thing. 3 workouts, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and that's it. Those are your growth days. That's kind of packing on the muscle. Then once you're doing well, we could add an arms day and abs day, just one day for kind of like touch-up work. That would be totally fine to do as well. That could always be at the end of a workout, doing a little bit of that. Do you need branched chain amino acids? Not really. If you're getting 2 shakes a day, which you should be doing 2 shakes a day, you're getting all your branched chain amino acids from your 15 to 20 grams of protein powder. Now, when you use my daily nutritional support shake, which you could do 2 shakes a day, and that would basically be all the supplements you pretty much need because you're getting all your zinc and everything that your body needs. What you might want to do, though, is add hemp hearts or hemp protein, an additional 5 grams to 10 grams to the daily nutritional support. I would recommend that for you. Why? You're 6'1". You're a big guy. I mean, without a doubt. So what you could do is just say, all right, let's add 10 more grams. That would be 2 tablespoons of hemp hearts or hemp protein powder to the daily nutritional support shake. That's going to be great for you. That also has your branched chain amino acids. What else would I add? I would say you really want to put on some mass. Let's do 5 grams of creatine. All right, 5 grams of creatine in a glucose or dextrose-based solution. All natural, of course, but you could do, for you, it could be pre-workout or post-workout, whatever you'd like. And it could be with fruit juice. Like that would be fine. Do I recommend fruit juice to 99% of the population? No, but for you, you're just going to burn it all off with your workout. So there's really no issue. Of course, you'll get organic. You use organic grape, or organic blueberry, or organic, whatever you want. And that would be fine for you. Why? Because you're an ectomorph. You're going to burn it off with your workout and you'll be fine. Everything is good. So, of course, do what you feel is best for your body. But that's my recommendation. That's what I recommend for you. Anthony is up next. Anthony's writing in. "Hi, Dr. Cabral. What are your thoughts on MRET water activators? Your products and podcasts have become a very positive part of my life. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Sincerely, Anthony." Anthony, great question. Let's go over that right now. Okay, so Anthony, usually I'm against all sorts of different things that people do to try to, alkalize water or change its form by some type of machine. But there's actually something to MRET water. And the reason is this. From my previous podcasts that I say that there's one best form of water in the world, and that's natural spring water. You can argue all you want, but that's what humans are meant to drink. They really are. You're not going to drink salt water right from the ocean. That makes no sense, and it's not even digestible. It's going to make you sick. It's going to throw off your electrolytes, all of those things. We know that, right? We know that. And then what else are we trying to drink for water? Well, we might try to drink some well water. That's fine too, underground well water, but it could be higher in things like manganese or certain, types of minerals. When you get natural spring water, you're getting moving water. You're getting water that's running over stones and soil that picks up the natural minerals. There's nothing better than the human body. Now, why can't you just go to a stream and drink it? Well, you don't necessarily know unless the water is tested. Now, could you do that? Yes. Should you do that? Yes, only though, if the water has been tested and you make sure there's no giardia, you make sure there's no parasites, and you certainly don't want to drink any of that. That could make you sick real fast. So what does MRET try to do? Now, I'm not going to say I'm an expert in this. I'll always state up first when I'm not an expert in that particular topic. And I'm not an expert in this, but I know what molecular resonance effect technology is and how they try to mimic. They're trying to mimic the charge of spring water. And I like that. That makes sense to me. I know that this was created essentially in Russia. Again, don't quote me on this as well. I believe it was created in Russia to help with detoxification effects after Chernobyl and certain radiation-based fallout. And I know they've done testing on MRET water. So I like lab testing. You know that I'm always trying to figure out what's the best way to prove these results. And so there is actually an antibacterial effect shown by drinking this type of water. It's basically a low-frequency charge given to the water to activate it, to make it more alive. That's in air quotes. And it actually has helped with rebounding white blood cells. So here's my thing. Do you need to drink MRET water? No. But should you drink MRET water if you have a specific health condition, maybe some type of low white blood cells, or you have some type of psoriasis-based issue or something like that? Could you try it out? Sure. Now, but what if you get access to natural spring water? Would that be better? Yes, because it's closer to nature. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe in MRET water. It just means that I don't necessarily use it in my practice when I'm trying to give things like spring water. And also, I've really enjoyed the new Therasage filter. I've talked about them quite a bit. Why? Because they actually have stones in it. So now you're filtering the water to take out all the heavy metals, some of the VOCs as well. And as it's being filtered, it's also running over stone. So now the stone is actually adding a little bit more charge, and it's adding back in minerals to it. I'm also a pretty simple guy, meaning like there's also so many things that you could do. Now, if you're a true biohacker and you love all of these things, well, this could be something that you might want to look into. And they're simply called MRET water activators. Not against it. Thank you for bringing it up. Thank you for bringing it to our audience. Appreciate that, Anthony, and hopefully that answered your question. All right, James is up next. James is asking, is a ketogenic diet good for you? James, I know, I'm going to say this tongue in cheek. I know that you haven't been listening to the Cabral Concept for that long, because this question, or you haven't gone back, because this question, everybody knows how I feel about the keto diet, and I'm going to keep you in suspense. I want you to go to stevencabral.com/podcast and type in keto, or you can just go to episodes 428 and 552, and you'll find out my thoughts on the keto diet. You'll find out that I'm not against it in the short term, but I am against it in the long term. That let the cat out of the bag, but I also want to know why. You should never just say, oh, Dr. Cabral is against the keto diet. He's not. He's against it for all people, and he's against it for a lifetime, because that's not how the human body was meant to operate. But now I also want you to go deeper. Never go at surface level. I want you to go deep on these specific things. All right, let's take another question. It's from Zach. Zach is writing in, what's up, doc? Writing in for my 27-year-old girlfriend who's recently been to a doctor, in quotes, because she was having allergic reactions. Itchy lips, redness around the lips, breakouts when she ate certain foods. She's tired all the time, never seems to have energy to do anything active, could lay on the couch all day. She went vegetarian about a year ago, limits dairy and eggs as much as possible. This hasn't seemed to help with any issues she's having. She has allergy problems, histamines her whole life, grass mold pollen. She has psoriasis. She's always had skin issues. Her mother and grandmother have thyroid issues. Let's see what else is going on. It's a long question. I'm not going to go over, I just don't go over specific labs on the house call. I just can't. There's obviously so much to do. Cholesterol is a little high. She knows that she has an underactive thyroid and an autoimmune issue. She believes it's from intestinal permeability. She might have high levels of heavy metals. What do you recommend the next step is for her for testing, diet, detoxing, overall lifestyle changes? I ordered the 21-day Dr. Cabral detox from your store. I'm going to have her start on a 7-day detox. If the money weren't an issue, after running the IgG test, I'd have her do the heavy metal detox, Candida, SIBO yeast protocols, and then start rebuilding her gut. If you ever want to take someone under your wing and create the next you have my email. But then again, you're already creating more of us like you every day. Thank you, Sally, for your knowledge, and keep it up, Zach. Zach, thank you so much for that email. Thank you for writing in for your girlfriend. That's obviously really nice of you to do that. Really appreciate it, especially since most of the time we have women writing in for their husbands and boyfriends. So love seeing that men are also turning the tables there as well. Zach, you're on the right path. You know exactly what to do. I don't even need to answer this question. You've already answered it. But yes, you're on the right path. So what do we need to do? Well, first and foremost, we need to run that OAT test, the organic acids test. Now, what if money is an issue? Totally agree. You could run the Candida, SIBO, and the Candida protocol, because the Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol is going to help wipe out the yeast. It's going to help to rebuild the gut after you finish with the 12 weeks. You're going to start the healthy gut support. Why do we not do it at all? Well, we simply we're trying to save people money. We really do. Because we could recommend you literally a million things to do. But we say, what are the most important? What's the 20% of things that you could do today that will get you 80% of the results? Now, if you want to do more, you can always do more. But we wanted to give you the 20% that's going to give you 80% of the results. So here's my recommendation. Sure, you can do the 21-day. You can do the 7-day detox, but she's a little tired. So only 7 days. And then let's do the Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol. You're welcome to run the organic acids test. You're welcome to run the IgG test. However, the organic acid test would be the most important, and then the adrenal hormone test would be, or the thyroid adrenal hormone test would be, to look at your girlfriend's levels of cortisol. What if her levels of cortisol are extremely depleted? Well, then I can give her a specific adrenal adaptogen that will help her with that temporarily while we're rebuilding her gut, rebuilding her energy levels, and rebuilding her body from the ground up. That's exactly what I would do. I would also make sure she's doing the daily nutritional support shake every single day, because we need to get the B vitamins back in her body. We need to get the zinc back in her body. I would probably also have her do a little extra vitamin C every single day. She could use the vitamin C powder. She could use vitamin C capsules. Without a doubt, I would do that. But for her, I would use ascorbic acid. Why? If I gave her the acerola berry, all the different bioflavonoids, the flavonoids, then she would react to all the citrus, which is why there's a time and place for everything. So she clearly has histamine-based issues. She has histamine-based issues most likely because she has gut-based issues, because she's not able to degrade histamines on her own. She's not able to make the enzyme that degrades histamines. So again, let's fix the gut. That's the first place to start. We'll do that over the course of 12 weeks. We'll start to seal that gut. We'll start to rebuild the body. We'll get the B vitamins back in her. We'll rebuild the mitochondria. She should start to feel great after about 6 to 12 weeks. And then each month after that, she'll start to feel better and better. I want her walking 10,000 steps per day. She needs to move that body. I want her doing a little bit of hatha yoga. I want her doing getting to bed early, right? Like my new book is perfect for your girlfriend. Of course, my new book won't be here for about another 4 weeks, but I just gave you how to get started. That is the place to get started. Zach, thank you again for writing in. Really do appreciate that. We're going to keep that for today's questions. Thank you, everyone who wrote in. Amazing weekend of questions. I really appreciate the community. Really appreciate what we do have here. And if you want more daily support, if you want more weekly support, you have a quick question, just come over to cabralsupportgroup.com. That is our Facebook group. It's completely free. We're here to support you. And again, once again, thank you for all of your shares. Thank you for all of your listens. And thank you to everyone who has left a review on iTunes. If you haven't yet, I would really appreciate that if you could do that. I read each and every single one of those. And really, it means a lot to me. Thanks again. And I'll see you tomorrow on our Mindset and Motivation Monday. Check that one out. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stevencabral.com/courses.